All right, what's up, everybody? One of the questions I get very often is the AMP stressful, right? And it, I don't know if it is stressful so much as to say that is there a lot of work to do? Yes, there's a lot of work to do, but is there a lot of um, hard questions? Honestly, when I take somebody that's been in the military and knows their basic concepts, they get it because you already have experience, right? And a lot of us we already learn from a lot of rote learning and stuff like that. You're just getting things done fast. You cramming everything and you take their test. So, um, is some of the concepts pretty? Some of them are. Some of them are hard to understand. But for the most part, the guys that I've been teaching and getting the feedback from is they get it, and it's just a lot of information, right? It's 2 weeks. Can it be done? Yes. So, I would get all the time from employers or, even sometimes even students is is that they say that they want, 3 to 4 weeks. But I don't know if you've ever heard of Parkinson's law, and I'll post it exactly what the definition is. Is Parkinson's law, that way I understand it, is if you give yourself, okay, let's say that you have a task to do. I give an airman a task to do. Hey, set up this snack bar, make it the best you can. You have 6 weeks to do it, right? And the guy is gonna take, you know, in his mind, he's gonna crunch the time, get everything sorted out, and get it done in 6 weeks. He's gonna take his sweet time, especially working in the government, right? But but this is just uh, just human behavior in general. Okay, so but if you tell him, hey, you have 2 days to do it, he's gonna start working his mind, like prioritize what he needs to do, what needs to be done, and get a snack bar up and running in 2 days instead of 2 weeks or 6 weeks, right? So here we go. Parkinson's law, not Parkinson's the disease, but the Parkinson's law. Parkinson's law says work expands to fill the time allotted for it. If you have a week to complete a task, it'll take you a week. If you have a month, it'll take you a month. So basically, it's saying that you will allot your time, for the time that's given to you. But if you get 2 days and you make that, perfect or not, get the basics down, you'll get it working. Maybe even complete the entire job perfectly and flawlessly in 2 days, right? And so with that law, guys get it done in 2 weeks. If anything, guys get it done in uh, 10 to 12 days. 12 days is pretty common because that Friday before the 14th day, which is that Monday, guys started getting it done. And if they're waiting around, it's because they need, waiting for time with the DME. And um, with some of the work that I've done to tweak minor things, and a lot of times when I tweak things, it's not really anything expensive. It's just it's a lot of it has to do with the sequence of the exams, because we can play around with like A&P schools. They have to give you the exam certain ways, and if I feel like my students are not strong in this, or I get a whole class filled with engine guys, and gearheads, I probably get them started on something that they're comfortable with, right? And getting them excited right away and be like, hey, this is easy. Or, and I've played around with it with the sequence, like, hey, let's get the hard stuff done first. And, or like, hey, this was easy. This is the subjects that are passed the most. Let's start with that, and then gradually, you know, get it harder, right? Or we start with the shorter course, the shorter test, and then we work ourselves up. So it's just, I played around with all that. I've played around with just throwing them a book, or that was in the beginning of my journey. Just throwing people the book here, study this, get this done, like some schools do. But we wanted to do something different, and what we did is provide presentations after the written exams or before the written exams. We've done that too. Um, so we played around a lot. We played around, okay, these guys are lying to us about getting stuff done. So we provide a checklist. So we are also aware of where they're at and where they're, because when you tutor guys, and especially when they fail, we want to know where did they fail, where was their weak points, right? So we provided a kind of a checklist plus annotating their grades each time that they did a practice exam. So we can see where they were already having trouble at, and if it matches with the test, right? So we did a lot of small things and tweakings, and it was fun because trying to figure this stuff out, because we want you to get done in 2 weeks efficiently and passing, right? Whether it's just by the skin of your teeth on a 70, doesn't matter. Because guess what? Employers are not going to ask you what your grades were. They're not going to ask you if how'd you do with your orals and practicals, and they're not going to be talking to the. I have not had one single employer speak, or one commander or technical sergeant about the performance of somebody's, when they passed, right? Long as it, only thing that matters is the certificate. That's all they care about. And um, and there's no grades, there's no diploma on that, AMP. It's just that, hey, it says you're certified. That's it, and your signature on it, and your number, and your name, and that's it. So, don't worry too much about your grades. Just get to 70 and move on. Get to the next, and you're gonna be happy that you're just gonna move on, right? So, um, but guys get it done in high 70s, 80s, low 80s is where they were at mostly, and also instructors were super great at in helping these guys pushing it through, get it, because a lot of the times it's not so much what you're learning, it's getting out of your freaking mind. That's the thing, is that people hinder themselves with their mindset. So we try to avoid distractions. We try to avoid them worrying about. That was the hard part, is them worrying about too much about what their score is going to be, what they're learning, And I get it, and that's some of the things that we're learning, is getting rid of the uncertainty. But there's always going to be uncertainty, right? Especially going that fast, because when you're going that fast and the time, okay, this is a perfect analogy. Imagine that you're driving 40 miles an hour on this wide road down a boulevard in, say, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and you're just driving. You get to, like, check out the girls on the sidewalks, or if you're a girl, you're checking out the dudes in another cars. You can look around, chill, turn out the music and stuff like that, right? But when you're going 150 miles an hour on that same road, you are tunnel vision focused, right? All the distractions don't matter. You're just looking at what's ahead of you, right? You're looking at possible traffic, but you're more aware, you're more focused on what's in front of you, and not so much the distractions, what's going on. You don't hear if your motor's about to blow out, or you don't hear the suspension. You don't hear none of that. You just worry about what's in front of you. So that's what's a great thing about the 2 week course, is because you don't have a lot of time to be scrolling through, and we've had those guys. They scroll through social media, and guess what they do? They go to, some of these guys, they meet with their fling uh, that was in California, and they meet them in Arizona, and guess what? They fail. Oh, they want to go to the bar, hang out, keep that lifestyle while they're studying. Guess what? They fail. And they don't come tell me, they don't come tell my instructors. What they do is they talk to the students. I was like, hey man, I met with this girl, blah blah blah. We did this nasty dirtiness, she did this to my butthole and da da da, right? So uh, then that gets back to us. I was like, hey, yeah, that guy was not studying. So sorry, I got my dog over here and she's just running around. But anyways, once the it is a lot of work. You'll be studying for during class and after class, but you most of our students get it done in 10 to 14 days. 12 days is about average because Friday they're ready to go and wrap it up and waiting for a DME. That's how it is. Um, so have there been students who stay longer than 2 weeks? Yeah, a lot of times it's because the work pulls them out, and then they have to go back, or like, hey, employer wants me back for a little bit. Let's go back. Let me come back. Okay, something happens. It's always uh, it's not too many times they come back because of their studying performance. It happens, but it's not very common. Okay, with some of the tweaks, this guy named John, he's an awesome guy, and he helped us, create the foundation, the core, and because he was afraid that this facility was about to get shut down because they were questioning, wondering, debating to keep the facility going because the Army helicopters are some of their components are FAA certificated, and if they're going to be working on it, have this components on there, that means that their soldiers need their technicians need to have FAA certifications. So we would work together, collaborate, and one of the big things is like, you know, uh, doing the presentations, doing talking about concepts up front, switching some the sequence of the courses, and then let them go test. And this is what he reported to me, and I got a testimonial too about this, where he had people at 30% and then shooting them up to 90% pass rate. So it is possible in a short time period. Okay, so you probably think it can't be done in 2 weeks. You know, that training course we have. You probably heard of Baker's Aeronautical School of Aeronautics. That's where I got the framework from. Is from them. And I mean, me personally didn't go. I just got the feedback from students who went, and they're glad they went to it. Knock it out, in and out. Employers love it because their guys are not gone for freaking longer than 2 weeks. They get it knocked out in a short, efficient fashion. So it is possible. It has been done. It's been done for many, many, many years, and a lot of people have gone to it. So, and in my experience over the 5 years, probably guys get it done in 2 weeks. Okay, so that's our online course. Um, this is not so much to promote the class. Uh, it's more about it's more about don't be afraid. It has been done for 40 years. I've been doing it for 5 years. Me personally. So that's why I promote this type of course for the military mechanics, because what's going to happen is you don't have a lot of leave, or you can get PDTDY, and of course, if you're trying to sell to your supervisor, hey, I'm only going to be gone for 2 weeks, 10 days total, 2 week, 2 weeks out of the year, right, or 2 weeks, um, I'm going to be gone to get this certification. So if you are in the military, this is something you can sell them on, and you can use PDTDY, and don't try to wait till right before you get out of the military, because you're gonna have a lot of things to do, a lot of things to do to transition out, like jobs, family, living, and then all the out processing stuff you need to do. So try to do this as soon as you get 30. Um, what is it? 30 months of practical experience. From the time that you get to your base, your first real base, from there it's 30 days, right? So Honestly, something I need to work on is figure out what it's going to be like for active duty members. It's probably going to be 30 months worth of active time. So if you're traditional, you got to add all that up for 30 days if you're not already in the aviation industry. So if you're outside the aviation industry and this is your thing, they're probably going to go off the times that you showed up to work. So training doesn't count. If you're in the tool crib, that doesn't count, and they will know if you're in a tool crib. There was one guy who got away with it. Um, there was one guy who got away with it that he was in a tool crib, and I don't remember the name, but man, that rubbed me the wrong way because the guy was failing things that it wasn't normal, and the instructors know. And then I knew right away that he was failing on simple things, and we interviewed him, and we found out that he was working in the tool crib. And I was like, dude, how did this guy get his tickets? He's supposed to have an interview and to figure it out, but one slipped through the cracks. So um, yeah, and we worked with the employer, and then we told the employer, I was like, you know, I don't know if it was legal or not legal, but long story short, we said it was like, this guy has some areas to improve in, and um, yeah, so you gotta employers gotta be careful. But I'm pretty sure these employers, are pretty smart on figuring out this guy's legit or not. So because we have to report their performance to some of these guys, and that's one of the great things about working with us. Seeing their performance. And we can also get a gist if they're going to be good mechanics, right? So, anyways, our mission is to get 22,000 of these guys trained, the ones that are already been trained every year. So it's a big mission. I think everybody should leave at least with a A&P if you're going to be a technician more than 4 years, and um, it's a great job. I was just talking to this young. He was 15 years old, and he wanted to get in the military, and he was very fascinated with aircraft maintenance, with aircraft in general. And I was like, dude, you can easily make six figures doing this stuff. Depending on where you work at and where you work at, but six figures is easily attainable. And going in the military, you get everything paid for. Got school paid for. You got so pushing him over to like into aviation because he was very fascinated with what I already done, and he's a gearhead. So, in his mom was like military, right? So, um, it's very fascinating. I love it. I love watching YouTube all day with cars and planes. So, this is our mission: is to grow the awareness of these guys. Like, hey, there's opportunities on the outside, and I think that helps. I think that at least it helps me, right? Like, hey, this is actually my mentality before I even came in. I was like, I didn't want to be a grunt, and not have something secured after, right? So I wanted to get into a job that I enjoy doing, like mechanic work and working on warplanes. But then there's gonna be something for me out on the outside. I knew that before I got in, and um, to my surprise, like there's a lot more. There's a lot more opportunities, and it's crazy. Some of these opportunities are not very big. You could be working for a billionaire's plane, and they pay really well. You can work for the Dallas Cowboys, but as an aircraft mechanic. You can work as for Netflix, but as an aircraft mechanic, because these companies got their own little planes. They got the private planes. So if you're interested in that, let me reach out to me. I can help you out. So I'll probably make some content about that, where um, what it's some cool opportunities. Throw me a company. I bet I can find something. If they're a big company, they probably have a private sector, and then anyways, so those are the things I want to do, right? If you let's say you want to work for the Pittsburgh Steelers because that's your favorite team, you can in your own way work for that team, and as an aircraft mechanic, and you know tow around these guys, your players or the owners or whatever, whatever the structure is for them, right? So, um, There's tons of opportunities, and I just want to grow that awareness to you guys to, you know, serve your country, and you have a mission. You do it under extreme conditions a lot of the many of the times, and and then there's opportunities for you on the outside to get out when once you get done. Because unfortunately, you guys cannot stay forever. Because like the average age of an aircraft mechanic on the outside is 54, I think it was, and most of you guys are getting out at 38. 40 years old. So another 20 years, 25 years, you can retire, depending on where you're at in your life, if you do retire, right? So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching this, and always here. Check out my school uh, program online. It's free, and if you want an instruction led course, let's talk. And if you're looking for what opportunities out there, join the community. All right. Thank you. Peace. Enjoy your Friday. Don't have a safety brief here. Uh, yeah, rapid is what I would say, and buckle, and don't drink and drive. Take care.